So recent research shows that sound change, pronunciation shift in a language is not gradual. New sounds often emerge suddenly. Um, this co-founds the classical account of sound change, whose central tenet is gradualness. Since since this classical account must be discarded, sound change theory in general must also be
All right,
discarded.
so what's our conclusion?
So it's sound change theory in general must also be discarded.
Yes, and so why are we saying this?
We're saying this because the classical account must be discarded. Um, yeah, that's like the main reason.
Yeah, and so, but do we have any proof for why the classical account must be discarded?
So we're saying that like so there's this new research that shows that like sound change is not gradual, and then this goes against the classical account, which says that it is gradual. So since we've just proven that it's not gradual, then the classical account is like discarded, is like dumb. So like
So, and is that good reason that we're saying like, hey, because they're wrong, this also must be wrong?
because like one aspect of it is wrong, right? Or, like one part of the theory
I
is
guess
wrong.
so. That's what we're assuming here, right? We're assuming that if one's wrong, the other has to be wrong, but we don't have any proof of that in our stimulus.
Hmm.
So what could we say that would guarantee that sound change theory in general must also be? What are we assuming that sound change theory relies on or is influenced by?
Gradualness,
What?
gradualness.
More so, what are we saying directly? Like if this doesn't happen, this also can't be.
So we're saying that sound change theory is like closely linked to like classical account of sound change.
Yeah. But we don't ever give like the relationship between these two things, do we?
No.
No, but we're assuming that they're linked somehow. So I'm assuming that our answer is going to somehow play into that.
So like, do you at this point like do you have an exact like
No, I'm just looking for somehow that we connect sound change theory to classical account theory.
okay? Do you like do you actually like predict? Because I know like from like Nathan from Demon like he actually predicts
Yeah,
exact.
sometimes I do. Okay, so I would say that since the classical must be discarded, sound change theory must also be. I would say that sound change theory rely like sound change like classical or sound change theory. I guess just like relies upon classical account theory or something like that.
But isn't that a necessary condition?
It can be both. But what I'm saying relies because like if it relies upon it and we don't have it, then this would guarantee this conclusion here because it would be sufficient for sound change theory must also be discarded because we don't have this necessary condition.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, go ahead and start with A.
So the data on which the classical account of sound change theory was based are now known to be inaccurate. Does not explain why sound change theory is
Yeah,
like
that's still keeping the like just because the data is inaccurate doesn't mean that the theory has to be discarded, right?
yeah.
Awesome. So it's not A.
Um and then B says the emergence of new sounds appear to be random. Like okay.
Irrelevant, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
C says the meeting of linguistically disparate cultures can affect the sounds of their language in unpredictable ways. Like I don't know what cultures we're talking about here. So
Yep, we don't care about that.
um D all theories of sound change rely heavily on classical theory. That's like what we thought about. So
Yeah, because it's linking sound change and classical theory together and it's saying like, hey, these two things go together.
yeah. And then E says for most languages, historical records of their earlier stages are scarce and non-existent. Like yeah.
Completely irrelevant. I wonder what you picked for this one.
Yeah, I wonder too. I don't know. I don't have